Hey guys, so let's talk today about misconceptions about starting your own accounting firm. Okay, so this just helps you avoid being confused because there's nothing worse than starting a business and being confused, okay? That's the thing that's going to cause a lot of friction and a lot of chaos. So, one thing that most people don't understand when it comes to starting a business is that the way that we've kind of lived our life up to starting the business, in a lot of cases, will actually prevent you from being able to actually succeed in your business. Now, I know that sounds very counterintuitive. It totally is. A lot of the stuff I'm going to tell you is stuff that you probably haven't heard before, haven't thought about in this way. And I just want to kind of challenge you to kind of be open to understanding it, right? It's not that I'm like, that I'm mean or that I don't believe in you or I don't believe in like certain things. It's just I've kind of been where a lot of you are trying to go, and I've coached and mentored over 360 people to start and grow their business. So I understand like a lot of the different things that most people are thinking and what's going to cause you like stay stuck versus what's going to cause you to be successful. So just kind of take what I'm saying with like an open mind and just kind of like learn this stuff along the way. Now, also if you want some help growing your business, like maybe been trying to grow your business, but it's just not quite going the way that you want or the way that you'd hoped it would, go ahead and click the link inside the description either above or below the video to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. So let's go. Misconception number one. Most people do not really know how to sell. Okay? So there's generally, I see two main camps of people when it comes to this. Camp number one is kind of like let's like, men and women, like the macho people where it's like, I can sell. Actually, so within there, a lot of, I see it more with the ladies. The ladies go, I can talk to people, so I'm great at sales. And the men go, I'm a boss, I'm a hunter, so I'm great at sales. Both of those don't actually work, right? Sales is not just about being like pushy or talking to people, or it's not really a reflection of you as a person either, right? Like when the men are like, I'm a manly man, I'm a hunter. Sales is not a reflection of you. Like you could be a hunter everywhere else in life, but not be convincing enough to get someone to actually want to work with you. Or you can be, someone that's very extroverted, you love talking to people, but you end up saying a lot of stuff, spending a lot of time connecting with people, but never actually making any sales. It happens a lot. A lot. I actually had to learn that when I was doing consultation calls, not to do as much talking as what I used to do. I used to do a lot of talking, right? In actuality, on a consultation call, especially for accounting and bookkeeping, the other person should be speaking at least 80% of the time. You should be speaking 20% of the time, right? One misconception I hear a lot of people saying is like, I just don't know how to convince people to work with me. And it's like that right there is kind of a flawed thinking in terms of sales, because sales is not about convincing. Sales is about really asking the right questions to get someone to understand and have clarity about how you can help them out, right? So literally, I'm listening 80% of the time so I can repeat back 20% of the time what the person actually needs and why they actually should work with me and why it's important to get this thing done at the price point that I'm asking for. Right? So really what sales is actually going to come down to is your ability to communicate value and educate someone through a full, true picture. Okay? Because it's not really that, it's like, it's not combative, right? So a lot of people, like, when they're thinking of sales, they're thinking it's like pushing and like being very combative. It's really more about just like, you are offering information to a person that wants something but doesn't really understand all the aspects of it. So your job is to help them have complete clarity into all the aspects. It's almost like me making these YouTube videos, right? You want some help, so I'm educating you. I'm communicating what is the purpose of this stuff. I'm helping you get a clear picture of this so that you don't have to go and like struggle for 6 months. Like I went in my first 6 months, like there was a time in the first 4 months, I went 0 for 36. That means I did 36 consultation calls where a person basically said they're interested in accounting, said they had a budget, and then didn't work with me. I didn't know what I was doing, right? And that's why this stuff's important. And it's just like, for me, I had to pay it was like close to $36,000 on like courses and masterminds in that first year to figure this stuff out. You guys have a YouTube channel with 1,000 videos that breaks down like what I've learned. Like, we didn't have this stuff back then, right? In order to like get information, you had to go and pay people for information. Nowadays it's a little bit different. Like, people join a mentorship program not necessarily to get information. Like, we give you customized information as well as implementation, so actually being able to do the thing, right? Because a lot of people know what to do and like they have information, but again, it's a misconception about the information, right? So you could have a sales script, but unless you understand how to utilize a sales script, how to implement a sales script, you might as well not even have it. You know what I mean? So it's like part of doing a mentorship program is that we're giving you the materials, we're giving you the information, but we're also teaching you how to customize it to yourself to make sure that you can actually do the stuff that you're trying to do inside of the video. Okay? Next thing, marketing. So marketing, and I'm using like two different cameras, so I'm like looking back and forth because this one I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, this one I'm doing a talking head video, so just different. So the second thing is marketing is a lot different than most people think. Most people think marketing is like, you have to get on camera, you have to like talk a bunch of stuff and like tell people and like be like loud and proud and just like have a million posts. And sometimes people think it's like making these graphic posts. That's not really what marketing is. Marketing for a business to business company, okay? That means you have a business, you're dealing with someone who also has a business, and you're offering a service. Okay, it's different than business to consumer. Business to consumers, you have a business and you're selling to consumers. Like maybe you're selling like weight loss, or you're selling like an e-commerce product, like a camera that they're gonna buy, right? For when you're selling to consumer, you need to have a lot more content because they have enough time to watch you and they want to learn. Business owners have less time than they have money, so they'd rather spend money to figure out whether something's good or bad versus spending 1 million hours watching and reading stuff. Now, it's not to say they don't do any research, right? That's why you have to be able to have the communication and like be able to message, be able to talk to them, be able to have the consultation call, because all they care about is really like the smell test, right? If it smells good, then it's going to work. If it smells bad or something's like fishy, then they have a lot more questions and the trust is lost. You have to go build a lot more stuff and like a lot more like resource and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like you just have to be really good at building a relationship. Now, we have other videos that kind of talk about what a relationship actually is. It's really understanding where's the current problems in the business. Next, it's understanding like where does the business actually want to go. Then it's also tying in like the business owner's actual like personal life, right? If you have all three of those, then you're able to go and communicate, and just it hooks them in a lot deeper. And again, like marketing also is not about having a giant audience. So I think a lot of people like I show some people like in my local area how much money I make with like a very small audience. Now, when I say a small audience, like my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel you're probably watching this video on, I mean, at the moment has I think like 2,300, maybe 2,600 people on it, right? And it's like most people think in order to like make six figures, you need to have 100,000 people following you. And they think that you need to have like raving fans, and it's just like it's not like that. It's really like if you offer a service of value, you only need a few people to go and actually make a successful business. Now, a good example of this is like one of our students named JT. Now, JT, and this was like news to me because I used to think that too. Like I had two successful businesses. I was like along the lines of, okay, I have to scale this audience. I have to go get 30,000 people in my Facebook group. Like today we have 40,000 people, right? But at the time I thought I needed to get 20,000. So like it's one of those things like you kind of get it over time, but you don't have to have it, if that makes sense. Right? So I was like, I thought, okay, I need to go and get 1 million people. I need to get as many people as possible. I need to get as many people as possible, right? Because, a small percentage is going to get started. But the student JT, he had 300 people on Facebook, and he was making $12,119 per month from that audience. It took him about, he was a little bit slower to get to about 12 grand a month. He was about 7 months to get there. He started about $300 a month when he first got started, but he got to like the 12,119. It took him about 7 months to do so. But it was just the fact that everyone that accepted his connection request on Facebook wanted to work with him. It was amazing. I was like, what? That's crazy. It's like you can do that much with that little, and that just broke a huge amount of beliefs for me, and that took a lot of like pressure off of me having to try and go and get 1 million people to follow me, right? And that's why it's like I don't know. It's just like so okay. So here's a difference when it comes to marketing. There are people that are following you, and you have an audience. So to put it in perspective, on my Facebook, I have 40,000 followers or group members. On YouTube, I have an audience of 2,700 people. I would much rather have an audience of 2,700 people than a following of 40,000 people. I know it sounds completely crazy, but this is a lot easier to monetize this because people actually like you, they trust you, they feel like they've gotten value, they want to work with you, like they're following you, like completely. Versus this is a bunch of lukewarm people who like may or may not, care about what you do. They may or may not really follow you, etc., etc. So it's just a little bit different. Just kind of depends. But that's the biggest thing. Next misconception people have is that they don't understand that pricing is the biggest key to success in this business model. Now, the reason why is because pricing actually causes you to have speed towards an income goal. So sales is how many clients will you get, right? So it's like everything is connected. So the better you get at sales, the less marketing you have to do. The better you get at pricing, the less consultation calls you need to reach your goal and the less marketing you have to do. So if you can think about it, if you just 3x your price, you'll need 1/3 the sales consultation calls, and you'll need 1/3 the leads, or technically 1/9 the leads, right? And better pricing in a lot of cases does two things. Number one, it means you need fewer clients to reach your goal. So that means you'll reach your goal faster. So what I like to think about is this. Most people, when they start their business, they're going to get anywhere between like 4 to 10 consultation calls in the first like 90 days of their business. That's like most people, right? Whether they're working with me or they're on their own. Whether or not the person pays you $150 a month or $5,000 a month really does not matter. You're going to get about the same number of clients in general, right? Now, some people are going to get 0 clients. Like, I don't know you, like if you're not sitting in front of me right now. So like, I don't know where you're starting out your sales skills, but that's what the lead flow generally looks like for most people. So if you're going to get the same number of leads and you're going to get the same number of clients, you might as well go and price the higher end of the spectrum, right? Now, of course, that doesn't mean like, some leads have to pay $150 a month. Some leads have to pay $5,000 a month. Your job is to understand in the marketing how to go and attract people that can afford to pay $5,000 a month, and then use the statistics to go and get that same number of clients. So what that means is that if you have the same equal opportunities, in order for you to reach your goal faster, you're just going to have to price your services better and go after better quality clients. Now, another reason why I like charging higher prices is because the higher that you price, in a lot of cases, you're dealing with a much different type of business owner that actually respects your skill sets. If you think about it, who do you think is easier to sell, we'll call it CFO services to? You think it's easier to sell a CFO service to someone that is making $100 a year and is barely in business, or someone that is making like $100 million per year and fully understands business? The answer is the bigger company, right? Because they have a lot more sophistication around their business and they have a lot more respect for the numbers because there is more need for their numbers to be correct. Versus someone that's doing 100, they're just trying to make it like the next day. You know what I mean? There's nothing harder than trying to sell someone that's below $100,000 per year in the business. There's nothing harder than trying to sell them a package for like above $600. They will fight you tooth and nail, right? And it's just like, it's not that they're bad people. It's just not, they're just not in it, Because if you think about it too, most businesses operate at a 30% profit margin. That's high. That's like high for most businesses. A lot of businesses are actually more around like 15, 20. And that's if they're doing things right. If they don't have their books in order, they have no idea. They could be operating like a 1% margin. So if they're making $90,000 a year, it's very hard for them to pay, $10,000 a year to you. When I say $10,000, that's $500 a month plus a cleanup, right? So a cleanup will probably be about, we'll say like $3,000, $4,000, right? And then the monthly $500 a month times 12 months is $6,000. It's $10,000 altogether. That's probably all the money they made that year is $10,000. So they give it to you. They really should. There's no point in them being in business. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to learn how to avoid those type of people and go after people that can afford to pay more. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, I want to help out the little person. It's like, okay. But if you ever go on a plane, right, they have like the people, like the attendants, right? And they're like, they give you that demonstration beginning. They talk about like the bags hanging from the ceiling. Secure your mask first. Put your mask on first, then go and help someone else. Because until your mask is on, you are at risk as well. You know what I mean? It's like you at being your accounting business owner, you are actually at risk of your business going out of business, right? So it's like you can't save someone else who's just starting if you're not going to be in business 3 months from now. So go after the better quality clients. And yeah, I mean, here's the other thing too, right? I talk to people every single day, and it's just like they might have like I talked to a guy yesterday. He has like 5 or 10 clients, and he's still working a full-time job. I'm like, wait, what? Like, his clients were only like $150 a month. I was like, oh, dude, come on, man. I was like, but like most of our students in my mentorship program, by the time they have 10 clients, they're at least making $5K per month, right? Because our minimum price we have them charge is $500 a month. So it's like, if you just get better at pricing, you do way less, right? Also, better pricing generally tends to less workload due to efficiency and automation, right? Because you can get really efficient at one client, just master one client, have as many automations in place as possible, and the work doesn't have to take as much time. Whereas you have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 100 clients, each one is slightly different. Now, they might be easy, you might have a client that's paying you $150 a month and it only takes 1 hour a month. And it's like, okay, cool. But when you have 100 of them, it just gets a little bit challenging, because here's the thing most people don't think about. You're not just doing the client work. In a lot of cases, you have to actually interface with the client to talk to them. They might ask you questions, right? So you have 100 different people you have to keep track of and make happy. It's a lot harder than if you just have 3 or 5. Right? A good example is actually one of my students named Joanne. Now, when she was first starting the program, I didn't know this until she talked to me, but when she first joined, the day before she joined the program, she fired 10 of her smallest clients. They were each paying like $150 a month. And then when she joined the program, she literally replaced that income in 10 days, right? So she made her first $1,500 in 10 days of the program. And then she added about $7,000 per month. It took about 4 months to do so, right? And it just comes from just charging more. And her problem with those small clients wasn't that the people she talked to couldn't afford to pay. It's just whenever people would cry poverty, she would have a lot of trouble being able to just kind of charge the right amount of money, right? That was one thing we had to deal with too, because in the beginning, she was every time that I would give her a pricing calculator, a number, she would divide it by 2. She would just cut it in half, because oh, it's too much money, they can't afford that. It's like, well, how do you know they can't afford it? Did you look at their books? Did you ask them questions? Did you ask why they can't afford it? Right? Did you objection handle? Right? If the answer to that is no, then they probably can't afford it. They're just not willing to pay it to you. So you got to figure that out, right? That's the next thing. But once you overcame that, everything else is a lot easier. So to kind of recap this thing, if you want help growing your business, right? If you feel that if you had someone that had a little bit further ahead of you, knew what they were doing, and has helped other people go and reach their goals as well, if you think that would be helpful, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below this video, depending on where you watch it, to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? And just to kind of further recap, sales is about communication education. That's the number one misconception I hear people have. Marketing is about building relationships at scale, so it's just doing sales but at scale. Pricing is crucial for better clients and more efficiency, and also just really making sure you understand that your success is possible if you do the right things, okay? So I will talk to you soon. Hopefully I'll see you on the call. I'd love to see if we can help you inside of our program. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.